Any tips or hacks on adding girth and width? I'm 43 and have heard that girth is just as important, if not more than length. Really trying to add fatness and girth. Derek, you are absolutely right. When they survey women, they haven't surveyed guys on this that I've seen, and they ask when it comes to the size of a guy, what's most important? And really, it comes down to the thickness more so than the length of it. Because actually, things can get pokey, but girth actually fills space and volume. So honestly, if you get a hydro pump or a water-based pump, and this would be like a Bathmate or even the Vaxaid, studies have shown that that is one of the quickest ways to start to appear thicker and feel thicker. So for girth, that's what you want to do. Now, there are whole communities out there with guys who are reshaping their penises. They're reshaping the heads of them. They're expanding the thickness of them. Because I want you to, for a moment, think about the last time you were at a store and you saw someone who had those rings in their ear, those spacers. All of a sudden, you look at their earlobe and they've got a hole in their earlobe that's this. And how did they get a hole in their earlobe that's like this? Well, they just trained it. They started out with a small opening, then they stretched it and put a bigger one in, and they stretched it and put a bigger one in, and they stretched it and put it in a bigger one, and they stretched it. That's the power of elastic tissue. So we have the power to do the same thing with every part of our body. I mean, if I rub my nose like this every day for the next 30 days, I am going to start to develop a little dent in my nose here. Well, your penis is the same way. You can actually mold and shape it, honestly, to do anything. There are whole books and manuals, especially if you check out the Tao of Sexology. They will show you how if you milk to the head of your penis and milk it and then slap it back and forth on your leg, you are expanding the head of your penis, right? Because we know that the mushroom shape is the more desired shape when it comes to the head. So there's a lot that you can do, but honestly, one of the first things that you should do is not just a regular pump, but a hydro pump, because that water and the air helps plump things up. So that's the first thing you should do to consider when you're thinking about girth. We have the lengtheners and the stretchers and things like that for length, but for girth, you're going to plump it up. Another thing you can do if you think about it, all right, so have you ever fallen asleep on your face? All that pressure on your face, you wake up and your face is swollen. You're like, damn, right? Or if someone punches you in your arm, you wake up and that's swollen. So another way that historically men have kept the shape and the volume is that they'll pull and smack it from side to side, right? Because what are you doing? We can talk about the science behind it, but really what you're doing is you're just smacking it and plumping it up, right? There are women that do the same thing with their lips. They want plumper lips and fuller lips. So what do? They smack them and lay on them. So there's a lot that can be done to increase the volume or the girth of your erection, but you've got to put the time and the energy into it. And so I find that a lot of times when guys decide to do that, they just become obsessed with it a little bit. Start doing it too much and measuring it and so on and so forth. And it becomes more of an obsession and a compulsion than a hobby. So I always want you to think about your erectile care and all of that as more of a hobby and not necessarily as something that you want to become obsessed about, because that creates a whole nother set of issues for you.